In today's world, people wonder why, if hell is real or not. Many still argue that there is no hell nor heaven, but by the end of this testimony, you will come to the understanding of hell and why you should do everything possible to avoid going there. This is a testimony that was sent to us few days ago. In her experience, she was shown the sins that is leading so many people to hell, and the surprising part of it all is that this is something we take for granted here on earth. So if you are listening to me today, I encourage you to watch this video to the end to know what this sin is about and how you can avoid it by all means. Before we continue, please, I will be glad to know where you are listening from in the comments section. That way we will know more about ourselves. Also, if you have any prayer requests, don't forget to leave it in the comments section for our prayer to help commit you in the hands of God. May God bless you. Now let us begin. Hello Daily Renewal team. My name is Miriam. I'm 36 years old and I live in Manila, Philippines. I work as a senior accountant for a big international company in Makati. My job is good. It pays well. My family is proud of me. I have a nice apartment, a car, and enough money to help my parents back in Cebu. By most people's standards, I'm doing really well. I've been a Christian since I was a teenager. I go to church every Sunday when I'm not too tired. I pray before meals. I give offerings. I even volunteer sometimes during special events at church. I always thought I was doing okay spiritually. Not perfect, but okay. Better than most people, honestly. But 3 months ago, something happened that completely shook my understanding of what it means to follow Jesus. It was a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesdays are always the worst for me at work. That's when we have our department meetings that sometimes go on for hours. This particular Tuesday was especially stressful. We were closing the quarterly reports and my boss was pushing everyone hard to meet the deadline. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning like I always do. The first thing I did, even before I opened my eyes fully, was reach for my phone on the bedside table. I checked my emails. There were already 17 new messages from overnight. I felt my chest tighten a little, but I pushed through. I scrolled through them quickly, flagging the urgent ones, mentally planning my day. I got out of bed and went straight to my laptop while the coffee was brewing. I needed to finish a report before I even left for the office. The morning sun was coming through my window, but I barely noticed it. I was too focused on the spreadsheet in front of me. I didn't pray that morning. I told myself I would do it later, maybe during lunch break. But I knew deep down that I probably wouldn't. I never did. By the time I left my apartment at 7:15, I had already been working for almost 2 hours. The traffic to Makati was terrible as usual. I sat in my car, inching forward, listening to a business podcast about productivity and efficiency. I was always trying to learn how to do more, be more, achieve more. I got to the office at 8:45. The meeting started at 9 o'clock. It lasted until 1:30 in the afternoon. No lunch break. Just coffee and some crackers someone brought. My boss kept talking about targets, numbers, performance metrics. I took notes, nodded at the right times, offered suggestions when asked. By the time the meeting ended, I had a splitting headache. But there was no time to rest. I had 3 reports to finish before 6 p.m. I went back to my desk, put on my headphones, and dove into work. At around 4:30, my sister Karen called. I saw her name on my phone screen and felt a pang of guilt. I hadn't talked to her in almost 2 weeks. But I was in the middle of reconciling some accounts that weren't balancing, and I knew if I answered, she would want to talk for at least 20 minutes. I let it ring. I told myself I would call her back later. I didn't. At 6:45, I finally sent the last report. My eyes were burning from staring at the computer screen all day. My shoulders were tight with tension. I packed up my things and headed out. The office was still half full of people working late. That was normal. We all did it. I got home at 8:30 because of traffic again. I heated up some leftover chicken adobo, ate it while checking emails on my phone, then took a quick shower. By 9:45, I was in bed. I thought about reading my Bible. It was sitting on my nightstand, unopened. I couldn't remember the last time I actually read it. Maybe 2 months ago? 3. I told myself I was too tired. I would do it tomorrow. I always said that. I fell asleep with my phone in my hand, still scrolling through work messages. I don't know what time it was when I woke up. My room was dark and completely silent. But something felt different. The air felt thicker somehow, like before a storm. My heart was beating faster than normal, but I wasn't scared. Not yet. I sat up in bed and looked around. Everything looked normal at first. My dresser, my closet, my laptop on the desk. But then I noticed something strange. There was a light coming from somewhere. Not from my window. Not from any lamp. It was just there, soft and golden, filling the room with a glow that didn't seem to have a source. And then I wasn't in my room anymore. The transition was instant. 1 second I was sitting in my bed, the next second I was standing in a place I had never seen before. It looked like a vast library, but not like any library on earth. The shelves stretched up forever, disappearing into a soft mist above. Each shelf was filled with books, but they weren't regular books. They glowed faintly, and I somehow knew that each one contained a life. A complete record of someone's existence. I stood there, frozen, trying to understand what was happening. Was I dreaming? It felt too real to be a dream. I could feel the cool floor beneath my bare feet. I could smell something like incense or flowers. I could hear a distant sound like wind chimes or water flowing. Then I saw him. Jesus was standing about 10 feet away from me between two massive shelves. He looked at me with eyes that saw everything. Every thought I ever had, every choice I ever made, every moment I wasted, every person I ignored. His presence was so overwhelming that my knees buckled and I fell to the ground. I couldn't look at him directly. It was too much, too holy, too pure. I felt like everything wrong with me was suddenly visible, exposed in the light of his presence. He spoke my name, Miriam. His voice wasn't loud, but it filled everything. It echoed in my chest, in my mind, in my very soul. He told me to stand up. I obeyed, but I kept my eyes down. I was shaking. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. He asked me why I had abandoned him. I didn't understand at first. Abandoned? No. I went to church. I believed in him. I prayed sometimes. How could he say I abandoned him? He gestured toward one of the glowing books on the shelf. It floated down and opened in the air between us. I saw my life displayed on the pages, but not in words. It was like watching a movie, except I could also feel everything. I could see my thoughts, my motivations, my priorities. He showed me a typical week in my life. Monday through Sunday, hour by hour. I saw myself waking up and immediately reaching for my phone. I saw myself working 12, 13, 14 hours a day. I saw myself skipping meals to finish reports. I saw myself bringing work home every single night. I saw myself checking emails during church services, my mind completely absent even while my body was in the pew. He showed me the numbers. Out of 168 hours in a week, I spent 75 hours working. I spent 49 hours sleeping. I spent 23 hours commuting, eating, and doing basic tasks. That left 21 hours. Out of those 21 hours, I spent maybe 3 minutes in actual prayer. Maybe 10 minutes reading something spiritual on social media. 2 hours physically sitting in church while mentally planning my work week. The rest? More work. More emails. More planning. More worrying about deadlines and performance reviews. Then Jesus said something that broke my heart. He told me that I spent 2 minutes a week with him, but 75 hours with my real God. I wanted to protest. I wanted to explain. But he showed me more. He showed me my apartment from a spiritual perspective. My desk, where I spent most of my time, had become an altar. I saw it clearly now. The laptop was the idol. The spreadsheets were the offerings. My time, my energy, my passion, my focus, all of it was sacrificed there, day after day, night after night. He told me that I had built a temple to work, and I worshiped there faithfully. I never missed a day. I was devoted. I was committed. I gave it my best. I gave it everything. But I gave him nothing but scraps. He showed me something else then. It was my family. My parents in Cebu getting older. My dad's health was failing. I knew this, but I was always too busy to visit. I sent money every month and told myself that was enough. But he showed me my mom sitting alone at the kitchen table, looking at old photos of me as a child, crying because her daughter had become a stranger. He showed me my sister Karen, the one who called me that Tuesday. She had been going through a really hard time. Her husband had left her. She was struggling to raise 2 kids alone. She needed her older sister. She needed to talk, to cry, to feel supported. But I was always too busy. Always had something more important to do. He showed me the last time I actually spent quality time with my family. It was Christmas almost 4 months ago. Even then, I had spent most of the time on my laptop, only half present. Then he showed me my friends from church. Good people who had tried to include me, invite me to Bible studies, prayer meetings, fellowship dinners. I always said no. Always had an excuse. Always had work. One by one they stopped asking. They didn't stop caring. They just learned that I had made my choice. Jesus told me that I was so busy building my career that I didn't notice my relationships dying. My spiritual life dying. My very soul dying. Then the scene changed again. This time he took me to a place I didn't want to see. It was dark and hot and filled with the most terrible sounds I've ever heard. Screaming, crying, wailing without end. We were observing hell, but from a distance. Even from far away, the agony was overwhelming. He showed me people there. Successful people. Professionals like me. A lawyer who had worked 90-hour weeks for 30 years. A doctor who had built a prestigious career but lost her family. A business owner who had built an empire but lost his soul. They weren't evil people. They weren't criminals. They were just people who had chosen work over everything else. Who had made career their God. Who had put professional success above spiritual life. And now they were paying for it. Forever. Jesus told me that this was the path I was on. He showed me where my life was heading if I didn't change. He showed me dying at my desk at age 52 from a heart attack, alone, still working on a report that wouldn't matter at all in eternity. He showed my funeral, attended by co-workers who would forget me in a week. He showed me standing before God's judgment seat with my resume, my accomplishments, my performance reviews, all the things I was so proud of. And he showed them all burning up like paper in fire. None of it mattered. None of it lasted. It was all wood, hay, and stubble. Then Jesus asked me a question that cut deeper than anything else. He asked me if I knew why I had chosen work over him. I didn't have an answer. He told me it was because work gave me something he wouldn't. Control. At work, I was competent. I was capable. I was the one solving problems, meeting targets, earning praise. I felt powerful. I felt needed. I felt like I mattered. But with him, I had to surrender. I had to admit I wasn't in control. I had to depend on grace I didn't earn. I had to trust in things I couldn't see. And for someone like me, someone who had built her identity around being capable and independent, that was terrifying. So I chose the easier God. The one who let me stay in control. The one who rewarded my efforts with visible results. The one who made me feel like I was enough. But I wasn't enough. I was never enough. And deep down I knew it. That's why I kept working harder and harder. I was trying to fill a hole that only God could fill. And the more I worked, the bigger the hole got. Jesus touched my forehead then, and I felt something break open inside me. All the pride, all the self-sufficiency, all the carefully built walls came crashing down. I fell to my knees and sobbed. Deep, painful sobs that came from a place I didn't even know existed. I cried for all the wasted years. For all the relationships I neglected. For all the times I chose spreadsheets over scripture, meetings over prayer, career advancement over spiritual growth. I cried because I realized how close I had come to losing everything that actually mattered. How close I still was. Then Jesus did something I didn't expect. He knelt down beside me. He put his hand on my shoulder. And he told me that he was giving me another chance. Not because I deserved it. only because he loved me. He told me what I needed to do. Simple things, but they would require everything. He told me to set boundaries at work. No more than 45 hours a week. No more bringing work home. No more checking emails after hours or on weekends. He told me to guard my mornings. To give him the first hour of every day before I touched my phone, before I thought about work. He told me to honor the Sabbath. To take one full day every week to rest, to worship, to restore my soul. He told me to prioritize people over projects. To answer my sister's calls. To visit my parents. To actually show up for my church community. He told me to use my work for his kingdom instead of treating it as the kingdom. And then I woke up. I was back in my bed. The room was dark. My alarm clock said 3:17 a.m. My face was wet with tears. My whole body was shaking. I lay there for a long time trying to process what had just happened. Was it a dream? It felt too real, too specific, too confronting to be just a dream. But whether it was a vision or a dream or something else, I knew one thing for certain. It was true. Everything Jesus showed me, everything he said, it was all true. I got out of bed and knelt on the floor. For the first time in months, maybe years, I actually prayed. Really prayed. Not a quick bless this food prayer or a sleepy, help me with this work thing prayer. I poured out my heart. I confessed how far I had drifted. I admitted that work had become my God. I asked for forgiveness and for strength to change. I couldn't go back to sleep after that. I sat at my kitchen table as the sun came up, thinking about my life, thinking about what Jesus had shown me, thinking about how close I had come to losing everything that actually mattered. When it was time to get ready for work, I did something different. Instead of immediately checking my phone, I sat down with my Bible. I opened it randomly and found myself in Matthew 6. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. I had read that verse 100 times. But that morning it hit different. It wasn't about whether God would provide. It was about what I was seeking first. And honestly, I had been seeking everything else first. Career first. Money first. Success first. Status first. Kingdom of God? Maybe 10th or 15th on the list if I was being honest. I called in sick to work that day. I wasn't physically sick, but I knew I needed time to think, to pray, to figure out what changes I needed to make. My boss wasn't happy, but I didn't care as much as I normally would have. I spent that day praying, reading my Bible, and making a plan. Over the next few weeks, I made some big changes. I talked to my boss and set clear boundaries. No more staying late unless it was a genuine emergency. No more working weekends. No more emails after 6 p.m. He wasn't thrilled, but he agreed. I think he was worried I would quit. I started waking up an hour earlier to spend real time with God before work. Prayer, Bible reading, worship. Not rushed. Not distracted. Just me and him. I called my sister and apologized for being absent. We talked for 2 hours. She cried. I cried. I told her I would do better. And I have been. I visited my parents in Cebu the next month. I took a whole week off work. We talked, we laughed, we reconnected. My dad told me he was proud of me, not for my career, but for coming back to what mattered. I started actually participating in church. Not just attending. Participating. I joined a small group. I volunteered for the feeding program. I showed up. My life looks different now. I make less money because I'm not working crazy hours anymore. My boss doesn't see me as the superstar employee anymore. I probably won't get promoted as fast as I would have. But you know what? I have peace. Real peace. The kind of peace I didn't even know was possible. I sleep better. I don't have constant headaches. I actually enjoy my weekends instead of dreading Monday. Most importantly, I have a relationship with Jesus again. Not just a label. Not just a Sunday morning routine. A real, living, breathing relationship. If you're listening to this, I want to tell you something important. Your work is not your identity. Your career is not your purpose. Your job is not your God, even if it feels like it is. I know what it's like to be trapped in that cycle. To feel like you have to keep working harder, achieving more, climbing higher. To feel like your value comes from your productivity. To feel like rest is laziness and boundaries are weakness. But that's a lie. It's a lie that's destroying people. It's destroying families. It's destroying souls. Jesus didn't die on the cross so you could work yourself to death. He died so you could have life and have it abundantly. An abundant life doesn't mean an abundant bank account or an abundant resume. It means abundant peace, abundant joy, abundant relationships, abundant purpose. Your boss will replace you in a week if you die tomorrow. But your family will never replace you. God will never replace you. You are not replaceable to the people who actually love you. So please, if you see yourself in my story, make changes now. Don't wait for a wake-up call. Don't wait until you lose everything. Don't wait until you're standing in that library before Jesus, looking at a life that was wasted on things that don't matter. Set boundaries. Prioritize God. Prioritize people. You were made for more than meetings and deadlines and performance reviews. You were made for relationship with the God who created you. For love. For purpose. For eternity. Don't trade it for a promotion. I almost did. And I'm so grateful that Jesus loved me enough to show me the truth before it was too late. He's showing you the truth right now too. The question is, what will you do with it? One thing I will tell you for free is that the small things we neglect might be the real cause for our doom. Let's learn to give God his place before other things. This is not a call for laziness, but is a call for us to go back to God, the creator of the whole universe. I know this message has blessed you. If you have truly been blessed, please, I would want you to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel for more of this testimonies coming your way. Also, if you have any testimony that you would want us to share on this page, please kindly leave it in the comments section. Our team will see to it. God bless you, and remain blessed.